Recently, I saw the movie The King's Speech. It was a true account about King George VI, who was the father to Queen Elizabeth of England. It was about his rapid ascension to the throne when his father died and his brother gave up his right to rule. The only problem was George couldn't speak. He had a terrible stammer and he had no confidence. A lot of childhood ridicule and shame had kept this impediment to his communication. His wife knew that he needed professional assistance. She hired a speech therapist. He was the perfect guy for George. He wasn't impressed with his status. He told him to continue when he felt so frustrated and wanted to quit, and he confronted his frustrated outburst. After discovering the root and finding the mystery of this, he gave him some practical advice. He said, speak as if to one friend, even though in reality thousands were outside the radio trying to hear his message. The combination worked. He gained his confidence, his stutter was diminished, and he found his voice again. This movie struck a chord with me. I had so much anxiety and apprehension about speaking. It prompted me to recall an incident when I was 17, sitting at the dinner table, telling a story with wild abandon, with all the slang of my peers. One of my parents interrupted several times and corrected my grammar. The enemy twisted this teaching moment into a sensitive fear of failure and criticism. My carefree expression fell silent. Later, years of ideas and stories built up, rusty from no expression. I knew I had something to say, but I couldn't get what was inside out. It was as if a guard was over this big reservoir of information and experience and expression, and I had no access to it. I knew I had to eliminate him by an act of my will, just as the king had eliminated his foes. A few years ago at a ladies' conference, I felt the Lord urge me to tell my story. I argued back, where? And he instructed me to start my own practice group using this same format, which was sharing one-on-one, just like you're over coffee. I could do it when I was relaxed and talking to a girlfriend, but if it was like a test, I would do it memorized and think that it had to be perfect and polished. Do I get frustrated at times? Feel like screaming, shouting, crying? Yes. Why do I continue at something that I'm not very good at? Because God told me to. There's no other reason. He is a healer. He is the speech therapist. God's kingdom is so different than our own. In this case, the younger brother, with all the flaws, rose to become king. A man with ordinary wisdom had the keys to his deliverance. Do you have wisdom that needs to be expressed? The same prescription was given to the king as to us. Speak as if to one person and find the root of the problem to heal. You never know who you may influence, or when your king may employ you to inspire courage in his subjects.